The much-anticipated trailer for Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of Dune has been released, and with it arrived a flood of new imagery and behind-the-scenes footage, as well as some new cast interviews that give us insight into what we can expect to see in the first film of this two-part production. When the trailer debuted, there was a very interesting cast Q&A portion with Stephen Colbert that preceded the official trailer launch. In this video, I'd like to talk about one cast member's comments in particular and what I learned from it regarding this new adaptation. The portion of the interview I'd like to focus on in this video is that of Sharon Duncan-Brewster and her remarks regarding her gender-swapped character, Dr. Liet Kynes. Spoiler warning, as I'll also be discussing elements from the story of Dune that are connected to key plot points. In the past, I did a video regarding the gender swap of Dr. Kynes, which was just a rumor at the time, and I discussed my feelings if that rumor turned out to be true. I'll leave a link in the description below for that video if you're interested in checking it out. Suffice it to say, my feelings were skeptical regarding this deviation from the source material, but ultimately I chose to remain open-minded as long as there were good reasons for making the change, and if the performance was in keeping with the character of Dr. Kynes. When the rumor was officially confirmed with the exclusive behind-the-scenes article from Vanity Fair back in April of 2020, I felt even more uneasy about this gender swap. However, I contributed most of my anxiety regarding this to the writer of the article, who clearly wanted to fit this creative decision into a certain narrative, and perhaps cherry-picked particular questions to get a certain comment from the actress to fit along with that narrative. Sharon Duncan-Brewster was quoted in this interview saying that Denis told her there was a lack of female characters in the cast, and that he wanted to write the role of Dr. Kynes for a woman. Brewster went on to comment, quote, "Why can't Kynes be a woman? Why shouldn't Kynes be a woman?" This reasoning wasn't enough for me to justify the deviation from the source material. If there was a better reason other than needing more women, a better reason other than why not, I would have felt better about it, to be sure. Many have tried to justify the gender swap by saying that this change was minor because the character of Dr. Kynes is minor. To be honest, I completely disagree with that logic. I feel that Dr. Kynes has a very significant role in the outworking of the story of Dune. He is our window into what has been happening on Arrakis during the Harkonnen occupation prior to the Atreides' arrival. Liet is in the Emperor's employ serving as an ecologist. He is very knowledgeable about the planet that is still in many ways a mystery to the Empire. It seems as if he is the spokesman for the planet, which is almost a character in itself. Liet is appointed by the Emperor as the judge of change to oversee the shift in stewardship of Arrakis from the Harkonnens to the Atreides. He is also the secret leader of the Fremen and has fully immersed himself into their culture and their ways of desert living. He has a daughter, Chani, a Fremen warrior who has a significant role in the story as well. Kynes plays an important part in the lives of the members of House Atreides and the Fremen, and is present for many of the more iconic scenes in the story. It is certainly no small part. Some also mention the fact that changing this character's gender presents an issue in that it changes certain family dynamics and goes against the culture of the Fremen that Frank Herbert established. While I still don't like the idea of making a fundamental change to established literary characters, overall I am of the opinion that if the actor's performance and the screenplay accurately convey who this character is, if they can embody the spirit of this character and do it justice, then I'll be satisfied. This is why I am glad to say that in this latest interview with Sharon Duncan-Brewster before the trailer launch, most of my concerns dissipated.
Well, I think first and foremost, as far as Denis was concerned, it was all about concentrating on the essence of this person. He's an integral role. He connects all the dots. He connects the Harkonnens, he connects House of Atreides, he connects the Fremen, planet Arrakis, the Sandworms. This is somebody who understands all these worlds and moves in between each and every one. So I don't think it matters that Kynes in the book is a man. What's important is what Kynes stands for.
Upon first hearing this, I was really impressed by her remarks. She seemed to touch on most of my questions and concerns. The first thing she says is that her conversations with Denis were primarily concentrated on the essence of Liet, and in her response, she spoke with passion and conviction, showing her deep familiarity with his character and the part he plays in the story of Dune. This is actually one of the better interviews I've seen of an actor speaking about their character, in terms of reverence to how the character is written, knowledge of their role in the story, and expressing the importance of staying true to the essence of the source material. It's certainly a better line of reasoning than what was presented previously in the Vanity Fair article. I think what myself and many others were concerned about was that this change was made lightly, without any consideration for the source material, and that it was just to fill a quota for female characters. Why not was just not cutting it as an excuse for me, but after hearing from the actress herself, my concerns are eased a bit. This time the focus was not on any lack of female characters. After all, Denis himself has commented in another interview with Empire magazine that one of the things he deeply loved about the book was the strong balance of masculine and feminine power. So it doesn't seem that adding more female characters to this film was his sole motivation, as if he were fixing a perceived error in the source material. Rather, this seems to be merely a creative choice, one given serious consideration and effort to make sure the performance stays true to the author's creation. Again, while it remains my preference that any adaptation of an author's work should remain as faithful as possible to the characters, I'll reserve final judgment until I actually see the film. That being said, I'm slightly more optimistic than I was before in regards to this casting choice and the gender swap in general. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy content. I shared my thoughts, but please let me know yours in the comments below. What do you think about this interview? Did this affect your view of the change to Liet's character, or are you perhaps still concerned? Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.